Hello, dear friends. Myself, Dr. Krishna N. Gaikwad, Associate Professor, Department of Botany, KTHM College, Nasik. Now, our paper is BOUT 232, that is Developmental Botany. Under that, there is a second credit, Embryology, and name of topic is Reproductive Structure of Plant Body, Embryology. Now let us see what is the definition and meaning of embryology. Embryology is a branch of developmental botany. In angiosperm and gymnosperm, which are nothing but the groups of spermatophyta or flowering plants, embryo is the first stage of life. An embryo is the multicellular organized body developed from unicellular zygote. It develops into finally large mature plant body through the process of growth. In plant life, there are two stages, that is embryonic stage and growth stage. The mature plant body possesses sexual organs that produce gametes. The process of production of gametes is called gametogenesis. In fertilization, male and female gametes fuse to develop a special structure that is called zygote. The zygote develops into embryo called embryogenesis. Thus, we can define embryology is the systematic study of all stages from gamete stage to young plantlet. Now let us see what is the definition of embryology. We can define embryology, the branch of science deals with the study of structure and development of sexual organs, male gametophyte, female gametophyte, then fertilization and embryogenesis is collectively called or known as embryology. I am going to repeat the definition. It is the branch of science deals with the study of structure and development of sexual organs, male gametophyte, female gametophyte, fertilization and embryogenesis is known as embryology. This is the definition of embryology. Now our today's topic is reproductive structure of plant body. First of all, see, for plants, flowers are structures of sexual reproduction. That's why we can define the flower. It is the modification of shoot meant for sexual reproduction. Dear students, after germination of seed, plant continues to grow vigorously and bears only foliar leaves. This is called vegetative phase. Every plant body goes with two phases, that is vegetative phase and sexual phase. At certain point in the life cycle of plant, switches over to the reproductive phase and start bearing flowers. The vegetative phase may last only a few weeks as in chickweed, or more than year. Plant morphologists regards the flower as a shoot of determinate growth with highly condensed internodes, and the leaves specialize variously to suit the function of different floral organs. During floral initiation, the shoot apex gets transformed into floral apex. The vegetative phase is usually conical with distinct zonation. After that, some birds becomes modified into reproductive structures that are called flowers. In plant, flowers are sexual structure. In angiospermic plant, it is a special shoot that bears accessory and essential whole. There are two types of the whole: accessory whole, and which includes the accessory holes, calyx and corolla. Now see in this diagram, these green structures are nothing but the calyx. It is outermost hole, and the brightly colored structures are nothing but the corolla. Now essential hole or reproductive holes includes androecium and gynoecium. Now in this diagram, these are the stamens. Collectively, they are called androecium. And at the center, on the receptacle, there is a female reproductive structure. It is called gynoecium. Now, androecium is the male sex organ, consists of many micropills, microsporopills, or they are also called stamens. Each stamen consists of filament, connective and anther. Now see this in this diagram, this is the filament, this is the joining coin, it is called connective, and the topmost lobed structure is nothing but the anther. Whereas gynoecium consists of style, stigma and ovary. Now see, in this typical flower, this is the stigma on which pollen grains become bland during pollination. There are different modifications of stigma in various plant bodies or various flowers. Now this is the long elongated stalk-like structure. It is called style, and at the base there is a swollen portion. It is called ovary. Now let us see what are the different parts of reproductive structure of flower. If you observe the typical flower or take the LS, longitudinal section of flower, first of all the stalk of the flower is called pedicel, which is connected to the remaining parts of the plant. In some plant there is no stalk. That flowers are called sessile. But most of the angiospermic flower shows the presence of stalk. It is called pedicel. Now second part of the flower is nothing but the bract. It is a small leaf-like green structure present at the base of flower. It is called bract. If bract is present, that flower is called bractate. And in some plant, the small leaf-like structure is absent. It is called ebractate flowers. We have studied in first year and second year. The swollen base on which 4 floral holes arise is called receptacle. These receptacles are different types. conical, cup shape, dish shape, etc. And all the floral whorls, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium become arise on receptacle. Outermost hole of the flower is called calyx. That calyx is made up of sepals. That means the individual of calyx is called sepal. And group of sepal is nothing but the calyx, which are green in color mostly. In some plant they are colored. Very few rare cases are there. They are called petaloid. Inner to calyx there is a second hole, it is called corolla, which are brightly colored, and that bright color is very useful for the pollination, to attract the insect for pollination. And the calyx is made up of petals. That means the individual of calyx is called petal. The third hole of flower is nothing but the male sex organ, which is called androecium. And the individual of androecium is called stamen. And at the center of flower is the female sex organ, and that female sex organ is called gynoecium, which is placed at the center on receptacle. And the individual of gynoecium is called carpel. Now these are the parts of typical reproductive structure, that is the flower. Now in this diagram, this is one of the LS of flower. Now see, this is the stalk. It is also called pedicel. Now this is the receptacle on which all floral holes are arise. Outermost hole of the flower is nothing but the calyx. And I told you that the individual of calyx is nothing but the sepal. Mostly they are green in color. They protect the inner hole in bud condition, as well as they carry out the function photosynthesis, similar to the leaves. Now second hole is nothing but the corolla. Now in this diagram there are yellow color, petals are there. 1, 2, 3, 4 petals are there. The collectively petals are called corolla. They are very useful for the pollination because they are brightly colored. Similar to the calyx, they also protect the inner essential hole in bud condition. In this diagram, the third hole is nothing but the androecium. The individual of androecium is called stamens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stamens are there. Each stamen shows the anther, connective and long elongated filament, which is arise from the base of ovary. And innermost hole of the flower is nothing but the female sex organ. This female sex organ is called gynoecium. It shows the outermost, topmost portion. It is called stigma. Now this is long elongated style, and basal swollen ovary is there. Now let us see in detail what are the different parts of reproductive structure. There are different characteristic features of the flower. The flower is called complete or perfect if it has 4 floral holes. That is, we have seen in diagram calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. If any one hole, either male or female or calyx and corolla, it is called incomplete or imperfect flower. Now we have seen diagram, this is the calyx, outermost hole. It is accessory hole. The outermost hole of flower is called calyx and the individual of calyx is sepals. When these sepals are free, this condition is called polysepalous condition. Poly means free, sepalous means sepals. And when they are fused, sepals are fused, this condition is called gamosepalous. The sepals are mostly green in color. That's why they are also carry out photosynthesis and protect the inner hole in bud condition. And they are leaf-like. That's why there is word foliaceous. Sepals fall soon after opening of the flower, fall down, or they may be persistent. And when they are persistent, they protect the food always. For example, brinjal, tomato. If we observe the fruits at the base of brinjal and tomato, there is a green color structures are there. Even during after maturation also. That sepals or calyx is called persistent calyx. In some plant, they also play important role in pollination. When they are non-green, when they are colored, and when they are colored, they carry out the function pollination to attract the insect for pollination. For example, clematis, salvia, etc. Second part of the reproductive structure of that is the flower is nothing but the corolla. This is the second accessory hole of the flower, which is made up of brightly colored petals. That means petals are with narrow base, limb and expanded claw. The presence of limb and claw you will get in mustard flower. That means mori. If petals are free, that condition is called polypetalous. And if they are fused, this condition is called gamopetalous. Gamo means united or fused and poly means free. And free or united is nothing but the base criteria applied by both Britannian botanists, that is Bentham and Hooker's classification system. They classify one of the class dicotyledon in polypetally, gamopetally and monoclamidy. On the basis of this criteria, fused or united. When the accessory holes in the flower, that is the calyx and corolla, are not distinct, they collectively call perianth. This condition, as per Bentham and Hooker, that is apetally, and its individual is called tepal. Now, in this diagram, you will get all the floral holes: pedicel, thalamus, gynoecium, endoecium, then petals, red color and green color sepals are there. Now, third hole of flower is nothing but the androecium. The individual of endoecium is called stamen. Typical stamen consists of sterile filament. Joining point to the anther is called connective, and uppermost lobed structure is anther, fertile anther. Anthers are with one or two cells. That condition is called monothecous or dithecous. Anthers consist of anther lobe with microsporangia. Number of microsporangium are 2 or 4 or 1, and that contain male reproductive spores. They are called microspores. Micro means small or male, and commonly they consist pollen grain, microspore or pollen grains. A typical anther mostly with tetrasporangiate. Tetra means 4. If you take the section of TS of anther of some plant, you will get there are the 4 loops, 4 macrosporangia are present on one and the same anther. This is called tetrasporangiate anther. The main function of anther is to develop the male gametophyte. If you observe the development of male gametophyte, the pollen grain become developed, the pollen tube, longitudinal portion, which is nothing but the extension of the intine of pollen grain, and each pollen grain shows the 2 male sex cells. They are called sperms. Now this is the diagram of stamens. This is the filament, long elongated. The filament is attached on receptacle at the base of ovary or top of the ovary, long elongated, and the connective and the upper lobe is nothing but the anther. And within that anther, there are many pollen grains are there. Macrospores are there. These macrospores are nothing but the male reproductive structure. This is the dorsal view and this one is the ventral view. Dear students, this is the innermost hole of the reproductive structure of plant body. It is called gynoecium. It is the female reproductive hole of flower, and each individual of gynoecium is called carpel. Carpels are born on receptacle. They are present in the ovary, basal solan portion. Typical gynoecium consists of basal solan ovary, long elongated style, and upper stigma. There are different types of stigma in different flowers, on which during pollination pollen grains land during pollination. Ovals are enclosed in ovary wall. This is the characteristic feature of angiosperms. They are, when open or naked, for example in gymnosperms, and ovals are attached to carpellary tissue. That carpellary tissues are called placenta. Placenta are nothing but the fertile cells of ovary or carpels. And distribution of ovals are called placentation. We have studied in F5BSc what is the definition of placentation. Placentation can be defined as the mode of arrangement of ovals on fertile placenta. There are different types of the placentation: axile, parietal, basal, etc. Female sexual part of the flower shows the development of female gametophyte. We have seen in androecium, pollen grains are responsible for the development of male gametophyte, and here megasporophyll megaspores develop the female gametophyte. Now this is the diagram of one of the gynoecium. This is the basal solan portion. It is called ovary. At the center there is the ovule. This is the egg apparatus with secondary nuclei, egg nucleus, and antipodal cells. This center round portion is called embryo sac. There are the integuments, ovary wall, long elongated portion, that is called style, which is useful for during germination of the pollen grains. Now in the diagram, these pollen grains become gland and they start their development. That is the development of the pollen tube, and that pollen tube enter through the micropyle for the pollination. Germination of pollen grain. This is the stigma, this is the style, and this one is the ovary. Now, in this way, there are the different parts of reproductive structure before starting the embryology, and these are some exercises. There are 3 questions. Describe the parts of typical flower. We have studied calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, pedicel, without pedicel, bracts, bracteolate, etc. You have to explain in this manner. Second question is that what is the role of androecium in flower? Dear students, we have studied androecium is nothing but the third reproductive or essential whole of flower. The individual of androecium is stamen. Group of stamen is called androecium. Typical stamen becomes the anther. Within that anther, you will get the pollen grains or microspores, and that pollen grains are responsible for the development of male gametophyte. Typical male gametophyte is with pollen tube and antherozoids or sperm. You have to describe in this manner. Explain the function of accessory hole in flower. We have studied that there are the 2 holes, calyx and corolla. Calyx and corolla are either, mostly calyx are green and corolla members are colored. That's why the main function of calyx is nothing but the photosynthesis and protection of inner hole during bud condition of flower. And the function of calyx is nothing but the attraction of insect due to their bright color for pollination. Thanks.